You are listening to the Albany State University Political Science Podcast with your host, Dr. Matthew Collins. The topic of this episode is How to Write a Social Science Research Paper, Part 5, the Literature Review. In this course, and in most social science courses across the future of your academic career, you will be using APA, American Psychological Association, citation form and style. Make use of the Writing Center at Albany State University. The Writing Center will help you perfect your APA citations, both in text, direct quotes verbatim, as well as those in your own words, paraphrase, indirect quotes. Citations, as well as your end of your final research paper reference list. Be the student that asks why. Invest in yourself. You can do this work. A literature review in a social science research paper is a section of the paper that summarizes and critically analyzes existing published research on a specific topic, providing an overview of the current knowledge in that field and highlighting gaps that the current research aims to address. Essentially, a literature review sets the context for the new study by showing what is already known and what needs further investigation. The key points in a literature review are as follows. It's all about synthesis, not just summary. It goes beyond simply listing sources by connecting and comparing different research findings, identifying themes, and evaluating their strengths and limitations. It identifies research gaps. By examining the existing literature, a literature review helps researchers pinpoint areas where further research is needed. What is the point of academic research? To bridge literature gaps, to improve the lives of the citizenry, to bring about a new world through research and the like. Additionally, literature reviews provide theoretical foundations. A lit review can help establish the theoretical framework for the research by connecting the current body of knowledge to what is to come. Moreover, a literature review is usually placed at the beginning of a research paper. The literature review section typically appears in the introduction section of a research paper, providing background information before presenting the research question and methodology. Most social science literature reviews use a basic introduction, body conclusion structure. If your lit review is part of a larger paper, the introduction and the conclusion pieces may be just a few sentences while you focused most of your attention on the body. If your lit review is a standalone piece, the introduction and conclusion take up more space and give you a place to discuss your goals, research methods, and conclusions separately from where you discuss the literature itself. Introduction. An introductory paragraph that explains what your working topic and thesis actually is. A forecast of the key topics or texts that will appear in the rear view. Potentially, a description of how you found sources and how you analyze them for inclusion and discussion in the review. More often found in published standalone literature reviews than in lit review sections in an article or final research paper. The body. Summarize and synthesize. Give an overview of the main points of each source and combine them into a coherent whole. Analyze and interpret. Don't just paraphrase other researchers. Add your own interpretations where possible, discussing the significance of findings in relation to the literature as a whole. Critically evaluate. Mention the strengths and weaknesses of your sources. Write in well-structured paragraphs. Use transitional sentences to draw connections, comparisons, and contrast. Conclusion. Summarize the key findings you have taken from the literature and emphasize their significance. Lastly, connect it back to your primary research question. This has been a broad overview of how to write, conceptualize, and compose a literature review for an academic final research paper. Please get started early this week on your weekly readings, discussions, assignments, or anything else that you can do to be proactive in your academic courses. Be the student that asks why. Invest in yourself. You can do this work. Looking back, you will see that your self-investment was the best thing you ever did, not only for yourself, but for your family, friends, community, nation, world, and universe as well. Thank you for listening to the Albany State University Political Science Podcast with your host, Dr. Matthew Collins. The topic of this episode has been How to Write a Social Science Research Paper, Part 5, the Literature or Lit Review.